Do we have everybody?
We gotta stop.
We have 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
We gotta get over this.
You don't have to go downstairs, just no pool balls clanking.
It's alright. Come on.
Alright, so we're going to start? Alright, well, welcome to the 2013 Founders Roundtable discussion. We can start out with everybody just please introducing yourself so we know who you are. Starting to my right.
I'm Steelheart, original founder of Grievance.
I'm Caitlin.
I'm Kukas, founder also.
Trask, founder also.
Thelonious.
Well, welcome. Thanks. I'm just going to start out with a basic question. I'm going to actually give this to Trask. What influenced you to create the Grievance organization?
Well, initially it was to be a rating guild. We wanted to be the top tier rating guild. And we quickly figured out that that wasn't to be. And we found that there were too many complications between, family and rating, and so it's just kind of evolved. We thought we were going to be fires of hell.
We
Right.
thought we were
Definitely. Yeah.
Afterlife and Dark Exile and Fires of Heaven, and we're gung-ho about it. And, I mean, even the charter at the time was a very militant, strict charter. And
It was brutal.
I remember when we all sat down, it was at Station 4 at the fire station. Me, you, Kook's brother, Rough Lifer, and Kate came over, and we actually sat down at the fire station and spec'd out based on the old Fires Within charter. It was a very militant, legal-sounding charter as far as...
If you missed 20% of the raids,
you were out.
So you were going for a hardcore progression. Totally what we're not, right? Exactly what we are. So obviously, this was founded in what year? How many years ago?
2000, almost 13 years
So
ago.
things have changed quite a bit.
It
Definitely.
changed really fast, actually.
Really fast. And what, 2 months after that, we're like,
Wait a minute.
we're not a hardcore rating guild. We're just not those type of people.
Family and work and.
you made me lose 55 about 20 times.
Oh yeah.
16-hour corpse run,
Right.
calling in sick to work.
We're like, this is not for us.
Right.
Wife was not happy about
This
that.
was EverQuest.
This was
Yes.
EverQuest, original EverQuest.
So 2 months into it, when you decided this was not the way you should go, you sat down and changed your charter and made it
It was
more,
more like a gradual morph.
yeah.
We just stopped being so serious. I mean, and there's still guilds that use DKP today.
Right.
And whether you like it or not, it's something a lot of Grievance guilds use. But even with the DKP and on Steam Guild that uses it, we find ways to give people DKP. It's nowhere near a hardcore rating. It's just relaxed. Matter of fact, EQ2 is probably the most hardcore out of the Grievance guilds right now. They're not really hardcore either. They still use an older charter that was written back in the old did EQ2, but most of it is relaxed also.
Right.
I guess you could say it. We discovered what was really important: the bonds, the friendships. I mean, these guys right here, and the other founders. The tightness at the time between just a small core group of people like that had come from other guilds, and most of us were in another guild before Grievance was formed. It is just you won't find friendships like that, real life friendships.
You guys did the right thing.
I mean, it was nothing for me to drive to his house and do favors for him. And
Right.
log him off for whatever reason. Or
Buff bots.
Yeah, his buff bots, or or call still and be like, hey, I'm having some trouble here. Can you come help me out? Or because back then it was typing and phone.
Right.
No,
Oh, yeah.
no nothing. It was phone.
Payphones.
There were some payphones.
Yeah, it's really too bad we didn't do Star Wars Galaxy because
Yeah, that's one thing we regret. We actually took a different name during Star Wars.
Syndicate.
we didn't know there was a syndicate. So we became a syndicate, and we were actually more successful in Star Wars than the actual syndicate.
So that was before you chose the name Grievance?
No, we
No,
don't.
we were-
Well,
Grievance
how did you choose the name Grievance?
Warriors didn't choose Grievance.
Well, who chose the name Grievance?
Well, we were all
Cam?
Camland. Camland. Back then.
We started off as, well, you say it?
Go ahead.
We started off in another guild called Moon Shadows. What it was was I playing EverQuest first?
Yeah, you're the first.
I was initially playing EverQuest, and I was back in the day. I was the necromancer who killed all the guards that were supposed to guard the newbies.
Right.
Yeah, so then the newbies would go out there and go to run to the guards, and I'm kiting him laughing because they're just getting slaughtered, you know. So yes, I was one of them.
Yeah, one of those.
And Chad was playing on another server, and he's like,
Well, I wasn't playing yet. I just created a character on the wrong server.
yeah, okay, he created a character on the wrong server. He's talking about how bad,
Fail.
how good his gear is and stuff like
I
that.
didn't
I'm
know
like,
what a
what?
server was.
I said, come over here, and he walked up, he came over, he created a character, and I opened up trade. He said, oh, I'm staying here. And that was yes, I
Oh
traded.
man, I got a big two-handed whacking stick and armor, man. That beat that little +2 dexterity ring I found it by a mile.
And Chad initially thought he was going to play EverQuest and make money.
Yes.
That was the original thing.
Was there a way to make money?
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
you
yeah.
sell items on eBay and stuff.
Back
Oh,
then you
yeah.
sell
My characters were
items on
characters.
eBay.
Really?
My characters were worth thousands.
I remember coming home and telling my wife, hey, I found a way to make money. I've been playing games all my
I
life. We're
bet
gonna
she
do
loved
this.
that.
Well, actually, she created
Trying to
a
put her on
dwarf
the
and
spot.
fell off the boat in the ocean of
Swam
tears and ended up
first.
swimming like for 2 hours and just finally said,
I'm
done.
done.
Rage quit.
But she had a pair of boots and she wouldn't let go of them pair of boots. But it's weird because I got sucked in with the community and the friendships with these guys over time, and I never even noticed that Sony and eBay banned selling items. It didn't matter to me anymore. I was just sucked right in.
Yeah. But you know, so we ended up making a bunch of friends, and we were all kind of scattered. And then we created a guild called Moon Shadows, and it was you and
Tito wasn't there yet at the beginning of Moon Shadows.
I was.
but it was a kind of a co-guild or co-leader.
Yeah.
Well, Chad wanted to start raiding because we got the bow. We wanted to start raiding, and the other guy
We got divided.
nothing at all, you know. And
Just opened our
so it
eyes.
just ended up causing a rift. Well, when we left, there was a little Grievance just fit.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
name just
It
when
was
he
kinda
said,
like
a-
we're all like guys, we need a name, we need a name, we need a name. We're all sitting around, and he said Grievance. We're like,
Yeah, well, it
'Cause-
didn't
'cause-
say any tactics. We had
Yeah.
to go
Yeah.
into that guild thing, and everybody had to go into
Probably
the
wait
chat.
for at least a week.
And he
or
said,
so
"How
to
about
figure out
Grievance?"
names.
And everybody was like,
That's
"Ah."
and it just fit.
It really was.
And then from there, we evolved to.
Yeah, because yeah,
Well, Kukus, so since Grievance has been founded, what would you perceive to be Grievance's strongest strengths and accomplishments?
By far the family atmosphere. Everybody taking care of everybody, getting along. As far as accomplishments, that pretty much speaks for itself, I think.
Come a long way. What's the roster right now on the forums? 3,100?
3,100 and something site members.
Never even wildest dreams that I think
Close to
it'd be something like
15
this.
guilds, embassies, and clans. We have
We
over
were
100.
so small in the
Yeah.
beginning. I could
Started
tell
with what,
you
9?
who was who, where they lived, what they did for a living. I had a notebook of everything, of different people, their phone numbers, their address. I can't even. It's too big. I mean, it's so big. You just can't do it anymore.
People
Can,
don't even
but
know
there's
now.
still such strong relationships within Grievance.
Right.
Right.
It still feels like a family, no matter how big
Right,
it is.
it still
honestly.
does, but I mean, I used to know like a lot about a lot of people, and now it's grown so big that
There's no way you can
no
get
way I
everybody.
can keep up.
Right. That's a huge accomplishment.
It
Huge.
is.
What would you say? for accomplishments, Steelheart?
Well, like Brian said, it pretty much speaks for itself. I think our biggest accomplishment is having an organization as large as we have and still being able to sit down at a table like this. And you can substitute anybody in this room, anybody that's watching on stream. Hey! or anybody on the site. Substitute them, any of these people with them, and you'll still have the same camaraderie and atmosphere and fellowship. And I think that's the biggest thing about Grievance is no matter how big or small we used to be, no matter how big we are right now, we never lost what we found.
Right.
And the biggest that we made, that made the biggest change for the good was when we started going from one game to another game. It was like, okay, these people stay here, these people stay here, and then they're all still part of the same.
One organization, multiple games.
Yeah, where it used to be one guild that hopped from game to game to game.
Right.
Well, the
Yeah,
multiple
stragglers
games
all
is
over
what
the
makes the
Yeah,
huge
well, every time a
difference
new
in
game comes
Grievance.
out, y'all want to go try it out.
Absolutely.
And went from, you know, like hopping around from game to game, the next great thing or whatever, and now it's like just everywhere.
So, as far as Grievance has come, obviously huge accomplishments. I mean, we're thriving, honestly. But where do you foresee Grievance going within the next 10 years still?
Wow.
Bam.
We have enough time and we may run.
Now, he's a dreamer.
You know,
We may run right into
Would you
the
like me to
council
get your
meeting.
box? You
You
can sit.
understand that? Let me get a soapbox.
Yep.
No, seriously, Grievance has so many things going on right now as far as guilds and people. We have COG, which started a couple of years
That's
ago.
my coggies.
You know, and within COG itself, you have the Gamer Girls of Grievance, which we revealed earlier today, and you have the EQNfansite.com, which is Grievance's first official fan site. You know, which the only way they'll even tell it's part of Grievance is by a little G that's going to be on there. It's just a fan site we're doing for the community.
Right.
On the guild side, 15, 16 guild clans, embassies, different games, multiple people in games. You know, we have the beta tournament. We have, tons and tons of things going on right now. I mean, many things. These get-togethers that get bigger every year.
You guys cannot miss this next year.
Beach house.
I am telling you. Don't miss it.
You know, I really see us as an organization maintaining the family atmosphere. As many of y'all know, we did LLC the organization. You know, Grievance is trademarked. You know, I see the organization maintaining the family atmosphere. I see the LLC getting further into the business. Hopefully one day in game development, we've already got 2 apps being developed right now. We've got a project right now where several people are contributing short stories, 30 pages plus. So we're actually going to publish not only an ebook, but a select number of hardback books also.
Right.
You know, and this is all part of Grievance. Next year, starting in February, the New Orleans Comic-Con, we're going to set up our first booth about Grievance. You know, so we'll have this book there. We'll have these apps there. We'll talk about the tournament. We'll talk about Grievance as an organization, whatever fan sites we have there. I mean, we're so multifaceted, faceted, however you pronounce that word. I mean,
You got it.
we could, I mean, honest to God, we are only limited by our dreams, our ideas, and our ambitions as an organization. And it's not me that makes it. It's not any single one of the people at this table. It's not the council. It's everybody that contributes to this. And that's one thing. Somebody wants to contribute, you know, just let us know.
Absolutely.
You know?
And we can find a job for you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we'll put you to work.
Well, how about speaking of dreams and ambitions and just getting out in the community? As I've experienced over the past, going on 3 years now within Grievance, everybody I've come across has had a huge heart. Everybody, we're all pretty much one and the same, honestly. We all click, we all get along. Could you foresee Grievance in the future branching out into the community to doing some kind of charity work?
Absolutely, absolutely. One of the things I think I started talking to Ken about it actually years ago that, excuse me, that's that smoking I'm quitting in a week and a half.
I thought it was after the get together. Wouldn't that be
Well, we're waiting till after the
tomorrow?
wife's birthday, so she doesn't have a bad birthday.
Okay, I'll give you that. You don't need an unhappy.
Me off of cigarettes is bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're laughing. But it started. I remember somewhere around EQ2, toward the end of EQ2 or whatever. I talked to Ken sometimes, coming back from Biloxi, driving to Biloxi from Pensacola because I used to commute, and I talked to him sometimes.
He commuted.
I
Okay,
commuted.
okay.
You didn't commute.
I just got to talk
I was
to
just
him.
saying your
I just
cat.
got to talk
Yeah,
to
keep
him
your
at
weight.
2 or 3 in the morning.
I
I got to talk to him at 2 or 3 in the morning when he was driving.
keep me up because I was falling asleep from gaming all night. But one of the things I talked to Ken about was why can't we take all these great things that we do in game, why can't we make a difference in life also? I mean, what's holding us back from doing great things as an organization in life? You know, we talk about some ideas and stuff, and then me and Travis and me and Brian will talk about the same things, and then four or five get-togethers ago, we started kind of put it out there. You know, why can't we do great things in life like we do in games? I mean, it's unlimited. I mean, there was, Night Angel and Phantom in the community that they live in were hit by tornadoes 2-3 years ago, and why can't we reach the point where we say, hey, we know that, if their house got destroyed or something, say, look, we know you got a lot of things on your plate, and we know that you got to get your house put back together. We can't buy you a new house, but why couldn't we say, hey, here's a hotel room right here,
Right.
and 3-4 days at least, here's a place you can stay and get away from it all. What's to keep us doing that? What's to keep us from going out? There's several gaming charity events that they do. I can't remember the names off the top of my head, but there's one where you take not collections, but I don't remember what it's called, but based on the number of game hours you play, people pay like 5-10 cents per hour.
It's like a sponsor.
What is it?
Extra life.
Extra Life. So why can't we do stuff like that as
Right.
an organization? There's several stuff out there. I can tell you personally, when we were hit with Katrina in 2005, the outpouring from not only the Grievance community, but also Ken, who organized 5 pickup trucks to come to Biloxi carrying stuff that people needed.
Awesome. Good job.
It's just stuff like that.
Well, I've seen within the community, this doesn't really have to do with charity, but within Grievance, I remember when our Ventrilo channel went kaput. And it was, we need to get this TeamSpeak channel, and this is going to be way more expensive. And I remember the Grievance members just
Like that.
in a heartbeat gave you like 4 times as much as you would ever expect members to give for that.
Absolutely.
So people's hearts are there, and I really think that's something
Absolutely. And it's going to come, we're going to need, we got that coming up again. And we're going to need, a couple $100s to top that off again. If everybody donates $1 a piece, we're fine.
Yeah.
Don't have to donate in the hundreds again, thank you.
Yeah.
I was quite shell-shocked last time, but
I
honestly,
remember.
that's the community.
I've
see,
had members come to me and be like, hey, I want to come to the Biloxi get together. I have the money for the gas, but not a hotel. It's one person.
Yeah.
Okay, you can stay at our house.
Right.
I've done that.
But
hundreds of times.
that's the way this community is. That's what makes
And
it
see,
so
I
great.
think if you were to say, hey, we want to do an outreach
Right.
program.
Right.
You go to the people and say, hey, think about, basically you could poll on what you want to do, or you could already decide, hey, we want to work with this organization. In 2 weeks you could definitely get enough money to help with an organization. Because we like with Vent, we're like, hey guys, we need some money. We got way more than we needed.
Right.
And we could turn around and do the same thing with.
I really think we
So-
could do big, huge, wonderful things.
Yeah.
Oh,
with
yeah,
this
and then as far
organization.
as the organization, I see the next 3 or 4 years, if we continue with the LLC part and the business projects that we've got going on with Grievance, maybe we can buy an acre or two of land somewhere and say, clear it off and say, hey, there's a pavilion, here's a pool, here's a big guest, not really guest house, but I hate to call it a party house, but you know what I'm talking about.
Bunkhouse.
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 Well, we can do that too and say, here's a bunkhouse, here's a big pool house, so to speak.
Right.
And, this is grievances. This is for people every year to get together. Just show up. There won't be no, ticket sales or anything like that. It'll be just show up. This is grievances property. And I see that, and that's very possible
We
in the
could
next
do that.
3 or 4 years.
Do like a timeshare where you can just like move it around. Where
Yeah,
you
move timeshare, whatever.
Oh, they could be big enough. I'm sure.
But we're really unlimited. We really are.
That's great. Well, I'm going to move away from that. Caitlin.
Told you. I
Seeing-
can go to 7:30.
Wait, we're here all night still. You were the only female founder. You were not the only how many female founders were there? One other, so there was 2. That's
Moonmaker.
pretty awesome. But my thoughts is,
She was a hell of a
gaming
player.
communities have always been primarily males, as we know, male dominated. But females are creeping in there, pretty good. You wouldn't know it by the males who roll female tunes, and you can't really understand who's male and who's female. But with you being a female gamer in an organization like this, what would you do to make Grievance more welcoming for other female gamers?
Oh, it was easy. I'm just myself and talk to them. Not long after we got Grievance formed, I had females in there instantly. It wasn't really that hard at all, and just, I don't know, you just talk to members like I do now. Just emails, your sisters.
Basically saying, hey, I'm
Hi.
here.
Yeah. I'm just thinking. I know we've
I
got
want to be your
the
sister.
got
Don't you
the-
want to come join me?
the gaming girls of Grievance that will be starting up shortly for the girls within Grievance to try to pull in
Pull
some
more.
more girl gamers, because my thoughts are Grievance is a very good atmosphere for female gamers. So
Yes.
what I'm trying to get at is, do you guys see anything else that we can be doing to make females feel more comfortable within Grievance, within TeamSpeak? Not that they're not comfortable, but people that are not in Grievance, I think a lot of women shy away from larger guilds, larger organizations because of experiences they've had elsewhere.
Generally, you jump into a TeamSpeak and there's no telling what you're going to get into.
Right.
Where with us it's a lot more mature crowd. We get a tartan, we're just going to get rid of it.
Right.
We're not even going to take the time to sometimes even talk with somebody. It's just
Right. Boom,
they're
go.
gone, and then we'll say, hey, this is what happened.
Right.
But I've jumped in other people's vents before, and you're like, holy smokes.
Right.
I
Yeah.
called them and said,
I
hey,
feel like I
you need
lose
to
IQ
ban
points
this
jumping.
person.
Right.
The biggest thing I think you could do is just let the ladies know, hey, it's a mature guild, and we handle ourselves.
Yeah.
that's
And not
a
mature
big
as
step
in
further.
swearing
Girls
or
just getting into
dirty,
gaming.
but
Yeah.
just we're an older
It's an
crowd.
adult crowd. Well, even, I don't know how you want to word it, but yeah.
we're an older crowd. Our average
We
age
still
in
have
Grievance is
fun
probably
in
between-
TeamSpeak,
We
but
do.
it is
Well, you can have fun
Good
without
fun.
hassling somebody.
exactly
Exactly.
exactly.
It's
We're-
that trash talking that just
Yeah.
goes
And
out
superstars.
of control.
If you talk trash, you don't last long in Grievance.
No.
And you'll get to the point either people will leave the TeamSpeak channel, or nobody will laugh at your jokes, or eventually somebody will come along and say, go,
Yeah.
just boot you.
pretty much. We give everybody enough rope to hang themselves.
Absolutely.
Really, I think it's just getting the word out.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking,
Just
because I
plan
think
something.
I think in the future Grievance can really be a welcoming organization for female gamers. That's what we're heading for anyway.
And the guys would appreciate
Must
it.
get more girls.
Well, you know, list, I mean, we've
We
got
have
a
quite a
really
few.
good mix of male and
We
female.
do.
Girls.
I mean,
There
and,
are hi.
and it's not only that. Unlike a lot of organizations, we have females as guild leaders, council members, officers. I'll point out Night Angel, one of the best guild leaders we've ever had in Grievance. Low Lane, another one. Currently besides me, the oldest guild leader, long-term guild leader.
Lowland.
Grievance. And she is unbelievable.
It's a great place for more female
No, he
gamers.
did. He worded that wrong.
I did. I'm sorry, Lola. You know what I meant.
I was trying to figure out what he's trying to say too.
We don't discriminate. We don't.
No, absolutely not. So, I guess we'll move on from the female gaming. Recently, there's been a lot of MMOs coming onto the market. Final Fantasy, ESO, that are going to be console-based as well as PC-based. Console gaming seems to be kind of branching out into the, the multi-gaming kind of community with guilds and. Do you foresee Grievance kind of intertwining into console gaming as well as PC gaming in the future? And if so, how would you do that? If not, we can skip the question.
It's kind of hard because I know
Your face, you're like, man,
I know exactly
I don't
what
want
Chad's
to talk
gonna say.
about
No, they were just talking. I think everybody needs. Everybody
PC
needs a turn to
gamer.
put into this. But go ahead, Philo. You first.
I mean, we were just talking about it the other day, and I mean, to me, there's a distinct difference between the console gamers and the online gamers. It's just
The general crowd.
the crowd, and
You mean the communities themselves, the
Exactly.
personalities.
The personalities and what they're looking to get out of a game, and I mean they're just completely different. That's one of the things we were talking about. I don't have a problem with the console gamer playing, an MMO or whatever, but keep it separate for those of us who like the atmosphere we've got, like the way we play the game.
Right.
Don't force us to try to play their way or force them to try to play our way.
Right.
I mean, it's just you just got two distinctly
Most of the
different.
console gamers I don't foresee
I don't
get
either.
into a steady guild.
There's no lasting.
Because they're short-term gratification out of their
Yeah,
game.
they want to get in, beat the game, and move on.
And that's not all console players.
No, not all, but
a lot
majority of them are.
Just it's go buy your console
Yeah.
game, download
Buy
it,
one
on
game,
disc or whatever.
you beat it, and you're on to the next one.
Right.
Well, and I mean, I could actually pick
and
on
the games that they come out new could change that. But in general, that's what console games are now.
Right.
They won't have it.
and I could actually pick on them about going to forums. They don't go to the forums even once a year.
No.
Console gamers?
Yeah.
They're not going to do forums. Then generally they're not going to be on TeamSpeak or Vent or anything like
Well,
that.
they
They're going to
can't.
be they're going to be on a separate voice system.
Right.
And so I could see if we had a group that wanted to do it, by all means, y'all go have fun, recruit people if you can into the organization, but I don't see them being able to pull very many people because it's a little clique, and then it dies and they move on.
Well, and we
It doesn't
actually
continue.
tried a console division.
Yeah,
at
we
one
did have a
time.
console.
Yeah, we
DC
did.
Universe Online launched, and we had a gentleman that had been with Grievance for quite a while. Quite a while. He said, look, I just bought a brand new PlayStation 3. Would you mind could we look into starting a PS3 DC Universe Online division? So let's give it a whirl. First, right off the bat, they couldn't get on TeamSpeak or Ventrilo at the time, either one now. But, so there was no verbal communication. We guilded and
Can't be the Blue Angels are
Ranger Blues. We guilded around 40 people for that guild. And out of that 40 people, only one or two of them that are still in Grievance today, besides the person who started it, only one or two of them really stayed on the forums at all, or even in Grievance. And what happened was, most people know Sony had their online hack, or their bad hack. So they shut down all their online games for 2 or 3 weeks. And DC Universe had just come out 3 weeks beforehand. So when they shut that down, as far as the console game was concerned, it pretty much just about killed the whole console game. Computer gaming, the game itself lasted a little bit longer, and I'm sure it's still on the console. But the biggest problem is that outside of our forums, we had no contact with these people. And
They're
then,
gonna feel alienated.
yeah. And then when
Yeah,
it
I
launched, they
understand.
didn't even have in-game voice chat of
Right.
their own.
They
So
won't,
they
they're
had
not
no
gonna
way.
feel it as part of the guild.
Right.
It's,
They're their own guild.
Yeah.
But with anything, if there's a need, we'll try to make it work.
Oh, yeah. It'd be
You know,
great
but
to have
that's
it
the
work.
thing. There needs to be a need there.
Right.
But-
Reaching out and doing that.
Yeah, but with console gaming, they're gonna have to get to the point that either you can integrate TeamSpeak onto, or Ventrilo somehow onto the console gaming itself and still be part of the overall TeamSpeak.
I'm sure they can. There's an app. I mean,
I haven't
there's
seen
no reason
it.
why there can't be
Yeah,
a console.
but that's up to the
Program.
gaming companies to decide if they want to broker a contract with TeamSpeak. And
Right.
it may happen, but you know,
We would have to take that.
that it would have to be something like that. The other problem I have personally with console games is, and we'll take Defiance as a prime example. Awesome game. Love Defiance. Fun to play. Love the series. But it has a console interface. And it is the most ungodly, horrible interface for a PC user I've ever seen in a game. Minus maybe DCUO, which also uses a console interface.
I don't understand how that
You use the
works.
control pad, the gamepad.
On the PC?
No, you use a keyboard, but
Uh-huh.
it consists of drop-down menus,
Okay.
and there's really no. It's hard to say, like hotbar. DC Universe, I think, has hotbars. It does have hotbars, but you can play them. You can tell the difference. There's to pull up screens. It's an act. You got to free up the cursor by hitting a button, so the cursor frees up, so you can actually click on
Okay,
something.
I played something like that.
Then you're not moving around or shooting.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
You just,
that
you
gets
just need
that gets really annoying.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Yes, and I'll be honest, that's my biggest fear about EQ Next right now, because Sony has been
Announced.
trying to migrate MMOs to the console for the last 5
Well,
years.
I think they have announced that EQ Next will be on
Right.
the console as
And
well.
I'm
as
hoping
PC.
they will do 2 separate interfaces, because if they don't, if they do EQ Next for console interface, I'm gonna really, really fear for the game.
Right.
I mean, Defiance was horrible. You had to do drop-down menus. You might as well have had a game controller trying to play it, and that's not why I play MMOs.
Right. Well, that makes sense.
Well, we play them for the community.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, if a new game was coming out and nobody else was playing it, I'm not gonna do it. You know what I mean?
I understand. So, as founders, you guys are kind of like the advisory committee, right?
Pretty much.
You're here to advise,
I've advised many nights.
many important
This is not a good
people within
idea.
Grievance. So, how exactly do you advise? Like, what
Depends on who you're talking to.
what advice would you give your guild leaders?
This is not a
Keep doing what you're doing.
it's not gonna work out for me. Like for me, sometimes I can tell if somebody's gonna stay with us
Mhm.
or not, or if their drama is just too much for us.
What she's talking about is
Drama-free zone.
trial and error.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
We've been,
And
it's
each
been
of
going
us
on
have
for
our
so long.
strengths. Like, that's my strength. And-
Recruiting.
Right, and then, everybody else.
Has their own
They have their own little
Something, I'm not sure what it is.
And he's what he's saying is, these guys are my advisors. These
Right.
guys are my sounding boards. Remember we said in the guild leader roundtable, if you're gonna vent, bitch, or gripe, do it up. These are mine. I can't tell you how many times I've called each of these. Everybody.
3 o'clock in the morning.
3 o'clock in the
I'm
morning.
done. This person's gone. I'm tired of putting up. Well, hold on. Let's see. What did they do?
And I've got
Wasn't me.
Or he's on vacation,
Oh.
and
Yeah.
I'm living together. And I get kick 'em, kick 'em, kick 'em, kick 'em, kick 'em. I'm recruiting officer. This doesn't feel very good. And then the person did something for me to see, and I'm like, okay, still can deal with it later. Kick.
Wiped your hands clean there, didn't you?
I said, but I said it was a good idea.
But
I
it's-
saw it for myself. So.
But as far as like guild leaders, I think the trick is get some people's phone numbers. Like the council members' phone numbers are out there. You can call. I don't have much time to game, but you can call me anytime.
I agree.
And I can say, hey, that's a brilliant idea, or that's just gonna kick you in the butt.
Right.
We've done it, we've been there, So the biggest thing is
Do all the growing pains.
Oh, yeah.
know that you've got you have a support. You just have to use it. You know, I mean, there's a lot of people here, and you can talk with Chad. He may give you different advice than me, but there's a lot of experience out there, I guess you'd say.
Hey, Cugio, is there anybody on TeamSpeak who would like to forward some questions to any founders?
I haven't seen any questions.
Okay. Just, if y'all have any questions, feel free to type it in, and we'll get it asked.
Or Paul.
So,
Is that it?
that's pretty much all I had on my list. So I was wondering if anybody else had any questions. Anybody? Questions for the founders? Go for it.
Yes, I know we've had some international members in the past, but ever since like Neverwinter come out, we've had a strong European community come into Grievance. Did you ever expect to have anything like that when you founded the organization?
Chad did.
Chad is conquering the world.
Yes. Yeah. Come on.
Honestly, we did talk about that it could get to this point eventually. That there would be grievance guilds in Europe, and there would be grievance guilds in Australia, which we've already seen. That eventually we would have an international community. It's not nothing we sought out. We knew it would happen. We envisioned it. We see one day having a grievance get together here, and one simultaneously going on in Canada, and one in Europe, and one in Australia, and everybody Skyping together or something, so we can watch each other's get together. It's entirely possible, and that could happen in the next few years as too. Bless you.
Bless you.
Or just step on a mouse.
That was the daintiest little sneeze. Sorry.
But like I said, I'm the dreamer of the bunch.
Yeah.
I mean, Caitlin's the mama. Trass is the opportunist, so to speak. He sees the opportunity and stuff.
There's no doubt about that.
And Cook
It's
and
advantage in a
Philo have
lot of
always
situations
been,
I've seen in the past.
yeah, Cook and Philo have always been the sounding boards. And, out of the five of us, and we just always made a good team. Always will. We've had disagreements. We've
Oh,
had
yeah.
bad disagreements.
Oh,
But
yeah.
we always work through them, one way or another. Oh, we've had.
Hey, should we say one that we got through?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. I had my wife at the time.
I don't know.
No, we didn't
Wow.
dirt.
At least this is in the history.
Right.
Yeah, it's in history. My wife at the time, come to find out, my buddy, a fellow officer,
Somebody fill him up.
he started working behind my back. And I got this guy into the guild and this and that. Well, anyways, make a long story short, she runs off with him. And I'm like, Chad, kick him. He's like, man, he's an officer. I'm like, kick him. He's like, man, I don't know what to do. I said, it just went, man, I just let him have it. And I went crazy and all. And, but to go from, just mayhem to we can sit down and have an adult conversation. You know what I mean? That was some, and we've had
That
some
was
craziness happen.
That was
Craziness happen. And then we lost other people because of that, because they're like, hey, you should have done this, and you know what I mean?
You
And-
should have done the other, or this
Yeah,
and
you
that.
we've had
Y'all don't know drama.
we've had some drama, and we've had some mistypes,
Growing
and
pains.
we've had stuff that just like,
EQ1 growing pains.
Oh,
but
yeah.
But you work through it, and now it's like, people will call us, and it's just like, it sounds like the end of the world for them, and we're like,
We've been there.
be glad that's all that's going on.
Right.
it's hard to explain to people, and some old EQ1 players may understand, but there's very few, and there are some out there. There's very, very few groups that still have, the founders in contact with each other. And it's really hard to explain what we actually went through. I mean, it was called Evercrack for a reason. It took over your life, and it was like worse than One Life to Live in General Hospital and whatever other soap operas out there all put together because,
Burning some sick days.
I mean, oh wow, burning some sick days. It was just, and our communication tools that we have today weren't there. There wasn't no such thing as patching somebody into a phone call and having a 3-4-way phone call. There was zero voice chat.
And my spelling.
Some of the
I love
misspells,
that one.
some of the misspells out there, you get a misspell, and then somebody quit the guild, and it was like, crap. It was a lot of drama. You know, if anybody hadn't read the history, read it. It really doesn't go into
drama
what.
now with the voice communications. I mean, before you could type things and you could not convey feelings in typing.
Right.
And so people would take it literally or however they wanted to, and you just couldn't. It just things got out of hand really fast.
Really fast.
Really bad.
Really bad.
Text is hard, especially when somebody is just naturally sarcastic and they mean nothing by it.
Or
They're
their
typing.
feelings hurt really easy.
So when are you
Really
going
best-
to when are you guys going to update the history ad part 2?
You know, I've got about 5 more pages written. I just got to get around to putting it in there. I haven't even touched current dates. I've got a lot to get over, or not get over, but to flesh out. But I actually started on about a year ago and just get bored at the fire station every once in a while and add some more.
I tell you the voice chat really made this community.
Oh.
I mean, where you
yeah.
can sit down and get to know somebody. You know, I mean, like Cooge. I mean, I'd never met him, but when he showed up at that first get together, I knew him. You know what I mean? I mean,
Absolutely.
so and that's why the voice chat has made this such a good community because you really get to know people,
You know,
and you want to get new people on.
Yeah, and speaking of voice chat, how would you as founders, you know, advise the rest of the community? How do we get everybody into TeamSpeak? Because obviously not everybody is logging on to TeamSpeak.
But
We've tried all different things.
One of the
Not
best
necessarily
ways.
a bad thing.
That could be true.
One of the best ways is sometimes, because some people are nervous with those big groups,
Right.
is you say, hey, we're doing like the guild groups where you just have 5 people. You get them in that little chat, that little group, and they're much more comfortable. And I mean, I've had people that just, even in 5, they just won't talk, and you get to work on them. Next thing you know, they open up, and so just start with the little groups first.
Right.
Give them a dungeon run or something, you
Yeah,
know, and
right.
it's like, look, it's better if you just hop on TeamSpeak, even if it's just to listen.
Because I will not type. If I'm tanking, you gotta jump on.
Oh, hang it up.
You ain't got time to tag no more.
No, you
Especially-
don't.
Holy
You
moly.
don't. I almost think
mean-
dungeon runs and raids should almost be mandatory to be on TeamSpeak.
It used to be.
It is in some.
No, it is in our deal. If you're
Yeah.
ready, you're on
It pretty
TeamSpeak.
much is.
Yeah.
Mandatory.
I'm not imagining most
But see,
people-
the 5-mans are doing your little dungeon run, stuff like that. If you can get people on, then get them used to it. You know what I mean? And that's where the community is. I mean, that's where you make your friends, your buddies, you know, people you just get to know.
Get to know.
Yeah.
That's how guilds would form in the old days. You used to sit around and farm some mob
the same
or
people
camp
over and
some
over.
group
Yeah.
of mobs, and you know, people would start talking because that's all they were doing was killing the same thing over and over again. And friendships were formed, and bonds, and guilds, and that's where guilds came from. Was
There ain't
that
no type of
message.
bombs anymore.
No.
No, that's good and bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I would farm them and other people have to pay me.
pick that up. I can't pick it up.
Well, there's no questions on TeamSpeak.
Nope.
Anybody else here have any questions for the founders?
We might have a nice question.
An honest question?
I'm sure it's that type.
Is there an honest
It
question?
should be repeated.
Of course, I don't see it.
Yeah.
Question.
Well, I got one. What do you think of how, I mean, basically what we created long ago? Well, what do you think of it? I mean,
It's a lot more than what I ever thought it would be. I mean, we keep joking about you being the dreamer. That's definitely a fact. Some of the stuff that you've said, I'm just like, he lost his mind.
He wants to do what?
Yeah, but I mean, it's grown. way
Everything
beyond.
is built on a dream, though.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely.
I agree.
And he's
Well-
the dreamer.
But you got to understand how Steele got me into this. He said, "Hey, come over to the house. I want to show you this game."
Yeah.
Okay. So he decides to create a character. He creates a character, walks out the gate, and bam, he's dead. I said, "Yeah, this is cool. I want to do this."
You forgot about, well, what are these red names?
Oh, yeah.
Well, let's try one out, red server names.
So
That didn't go well.
So that's how he got me started in it. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I was hesitant. I'm like, I don't know about all this, but I mean, he got me into it, and then, as everything progressed and it started growing, I mean,
It's all Travis's fault for us.
Right.
Yeah, it's all Travis's fault, actually.
We love you.
All right, so they want to know what games are we looking forward to starting guilds in?
Me personally,
all of them.
EQ next.
No!
I'm all about
Yay!
EQ next. I'm hoping it's half of what everybody says it's going to be.
Wildstar.
Wild side.
I'm looking forward to the vampire game, maybe.
Darkness, World of Darkness.
Eve is an amazing game. If we would have played Eve instead of Star Wars Galaxies, I would probably still be in Eve today.
Oh, we would rock that
Because
thing.
we would have had a
Yeah.
phenomenal system there. I mean,
That's
we
one
would have
thing we're
owned
good
the
at, is
galaxies.
organization. Every single one of us,
Yeah.
damn good at organization.
And it's one thing to say, you just form a little guild somewhere, but here you know people. You know what I mean? You know them. You can trust them. You can say, hey, like Stillwinder. He's going to move and he can't move. I'm like, dude, what's wrong?
It's near the end of EQ window.
Yes. He's got so much money on him.
You're EQ one
You
of those.
can't move because you had too much money.
Yes.
You're
He
encumbered.
hit a bump and died.
Who have you been talking
I'm like, let me get my cleric. So I bring my cleric over, Resi. He's like, thanks, man. I'm like, you need a speed buff too? Yeah. I'm like, my druid over
When
there.
you die?
Hit him.
Yes.
Oh, dear Lord.
No, you didn't lose your money.
No?
No, you just lost all your money. You kept your money.
You
But
had
I was
reloaded.
thinking anyway.
Yeah. So then you
All that
reload.
stuff in my
And
bag.
I have to res him. I have to buff him so he can move. I'm like, what's up?
I can't talk about it.
But I mean, he passed me all his money and he knows it's good. And that's like the guild banks and all. You can't form a guild with somebody and have all this stuff in a guild.
Right, exactly.
But I mean, it's nice having the community and actually knowing people. And that's what's nice about the get-togethers. You get to know people.
That's been something.
I miss some too.
Oh my goodness.
Have another cherry.
Moonshine cherries.
So what was the question, Cooch? Did we get one?
That was it.
No. What was the question?
What
games we're
future
looking for?
games
Oh,
are
that's
you
right,
all
that's right,
looking
that's
forward
right.
to getting the guild into?
It's an easy
What
one.
about you, Brian?
What's the question?
What are you looking forward to getting into?
I've been really busy.
That's
Running a business and everything is a lot of work. And I really haven't looked at a game in several months. But I'm looking forward to getting active in it. But I really hope EQ Next is worth a day.
Well, and see, another thing is you can just listen to the community. Like with Neverwinter, that's what Chad's like, man, you need to, this and that. You can listen to the community, and just based on the community, you can kind of tell what game's going to be good. Especially once it gets into beta, you know which game's going to be good based on the community.
But you know what I'm really looking forward to playing? Really looking forward to playing. It's EQ Next is the one I've really got my eye on, but there's another game coming up right now that so far they just seem to be doing almost everything right, and that's Wildstar. Wildstar, it looks...
Purple bunnies.
But Wildstar, the graphics are a little cartoony, but that doesn't really matter to me.
They're whimsical.
Yeah, it's,
Defensive over
You know,
there.
hey, I hope when the right guy scratches his balls, that's I'm still, that's something I gotta push to do, you know, but, you know, whatever. You know, but
Not
seriously,
bridging you from that, man.
they're bringing back player housing, and it looks really good.
It does.
It looks really good. They're bringing back 40-man raids, and I'm really looking forward to big raids. I miss big raids. To me, the bigger the raid, the bigger the community, and it's gonna hopefully cause the game to have a little bit bigger community also because of the raids. They're supposed to have decent crafting in the game. I like the way that if you're an explorer, you can open up stuff. It really looks like a good game. It may not be my final game, you know, it may just be a stepping stone to
There's
EQ
never
next,
gonna be
but
a final game.
there'll never be a final game.
Never.
But I
We'll
can
be
see
here
myself.
80.
We've realized.
What games are coming out next year?
I can see myself no matter what.
Let's hurry to this part, go get it.
We need a ground floor.
No, but seriously, I can see myself no matter what I'm playing. Playing WildStar, it looks fun. It really does. And I'm looking for something that's fun right now, you know, because I know EQ Next is going to be, I hope it's serious, but I'm looking for something that's fun right now, something I can get in and have a good time with.
And see, that's the trick with the guild is you can bounce around and you're going to have people you know no matter where you go. You know, and that's nice.
Absolutely.
That's so
Very
nice.
nice.
Elder Scrolls looks good. I mean, they got a lot of things I've seen that I like. They got a lot of things I don't like. You know, my philosophy is I wait till I get to get in there. When I get to get in there, you know, then that, I make my own personal decision. That doesn't affect anybody as far as how they want to play or if they want to play. That's just whether I want to play or not. I've gotten in some games over the last couple of years. I didn't last 2 hours in because I was just like, this isn't for me. But I know this different people that they're still playing those games, you know.
And you wonder. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
I don't wonder anymore. I just, you know, it's they enjoy it. I understand. They enjoy the game, and that's why we have so many embassies and guilds and everything else. Because if somebody has a game they enjoy, and we've got at least a handful of people that want to play it, we'll create an embassy over there. Why not?
Yeah, I saw a post on the forums today, speaking of embassies, that they were thinking about creating a Hello Kitty online.
Sure. I need 5 people that want to play it together.
Kidding!
Oh,
That would be, hey, we can download that
You
for
got some girls in
Girls
there.
of Grievance, Hello Kitty online.
all kidding aside, if there's people that want to play it, I don't care. Only game that I won't sanction is what is it called?
Scarlet Blade.
Scarlet Blade. Not a
But, who was saying that they're gonna get closed now? Foxtrot?
Who, what,
Were you saying Scarlet Blade was gonna be
Scarlet
closed
Blade, Scarlet Blade.
Whatever it is.
Scarlet Blade is going to be going through some updates to bring the Western clothing to the characters.
No,
The same
I'm still
thing.
not sure. That's
It's
Yeah,
the
I
same
know.
thing that Terra did when Terra first came out. They had very underdressed tunes.
Going,
And
ooh!
when they came over here, they
They will.
got the raspberry and had to put clothing on them. So it's definitely that's even if the game even goes any further than what it has so far. I lost interest in it the first time. It shook its butt at me. I was
Well,
like,
let me just say, if it wasn't for all of y'all and the others who are not here, we would not be here. And I'm just gonna say thank you, because you guys have created an amazing organization. I'm not going anywhere. Watch out.
We have one more question.
Oh, go for it.
Another question.
They want to know, what are your opinions on so many games going free to play, and how has it affected the guild over time?
I
That's a
think
good
it's
question.
Really good question.
I think it's a good stepping stone for the industry, because you know the embassies. I mean, you can. I mean, look at Neverwinter. Holy smokes! It was supposed to be 40 people. You know, and it's just, yeah.
Rift is
It's
kind of taking
crazy.
off too.
Yeah, so I think the free to play is a good aspect because you're not tied to it, and you can play as many games as you want free to play. So, and it just gives us a chance to grow even more.
What I see Grievance doing in the free to play industry is coming up with some angle for Grievance to be able to advertise within that, within the guilds.
Yeah.
There's so many aspects of that that are unexplored at this point.
Very, very, very true. I mean, because if we're bringing them money,
That's right.
plain and simple. You scratch our back, we'll scratch yours.
From an industry point of view, I see why they're doing it. I really do. Personal point of view, I'm divided on it. I don't mind paying a subscription. I know I've met people that they can be millionaires and they're absolutely against the philosophy of having to pay a subscription. And that's fine. I like what EverQuest or Sony's done with their hybrid. I think Sony's on the right track with a hybrid as far as having
where you have
you can play
you can
free
do it
to
this
play.
way, you can do it this way, you can do it this
There's a second level that does something, then there's a subscription level. And that, as far as I know, opens up everything except for ornamentals. Now, Star Wars irritated me with the release of the Cathar race, but then you had to pay for it, even subscribers. That's wrong. BioWare, if you're listening, that was wrong. If you pay a subscription, everything should be on the table except for little cosmetics, costumes, and ornamentation. You don't put a race up there and say, oh, we need more money. Even our subscribers are going to have to either pay God knows how many credits or cartel coins. That's not right. Bad BioWare.
You had to pay for each expansion.
Well, expansions are okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand it, but it's just expansions.
Similar to the same
Any
thing,
type of
sort
classes, races, dungeons, raid zones for subscribers, if you're paying $15 a month, God knows how much in the future, it's fine. But I really like the free to play because it brings in a lot of people. We've seen it in Star Wars. We've seen people, when it went free to play, get into Star Wars and play for free, find Grievance, see that we're rating, and subscribe.
Even weird.
What do you
Should we get some of that then?
You've seen it.
I like the free to play just because, like myself, there's nothing I'm really interested in paying for right now. There's.
Yeah, it's convenient.
I'm waiting for that next game. Chad and I've talked about it many times. I'm waiting for that next game that's as close to EQ1 as it can get.
I like the payment plan too, because then that focuses commitment and dedication to that particular game too, and you're going to get
So
that
you-
person playing
You want to
also.
die when you have too much money.
We all miss EQ1.
I want to see that. I do. I want to see that.
But I don't think we
There's
do.
a longer story to that we'll go into later.
I want to see somebody slow down for money. That's got me so intrigued because I've only first heard about that today.
There's a lot of things that
That if
EQ1
you have
that
too
we
much
all
money, you
miss.
go.
I think I have it
Oh,
on
the
my
community,
laptop.
EQ1 had nuances in it that made you need to
You
allow
have to realize
had
other
to.
people.
Yep.
If you don't,
If you do some crap.
It's a
you didn't
massive
have that crap.
multiplayer game. You
Absolutely.
should have to
Well,
rely
and-
in my opinion.
And when you reached a goal, we would set goals as a guild, and when you reached that goal, you felt like you'd accomplished it.
Right.
Right.
because it took a
Because
lot
it
of work
took
to
so
do it.
much, yeah.
Nowadays, you can snap through crap these days that it's just like,
I don't like all the instancing because, like
No, I
in
hate the
EQ2,
instancing too.
if you needed a certain item, you would go. If somebody was there farming it, you'd say, "Hey, can you send me a tail when you got finished?" And the odds are they would tell you, "Hey, I'm getting ready to leave if you want to come in here." If I'm farming something and some jerk off comes in and he's just going to take it from me, I'd be like, "Hey guys, I need some backup." You know what I mean? And you'd have a bunch of people show up and well, off you go. It's just
I think there is a place for instance. And I remember doing Nagathan, with 70-something people, and one red dragon scale was going to drop, and that was it. And there was, I know the bards needed the red dragon scale, and
there's probably a quarter of the people that needed that
yeah,
item.
in one way or another, and there was one.
Out of 70.
70.
Now, on one
And you
hand,
you're spending like 8 hours there.
on a contested mob,
Right.
So it's get there quick.
So
making
was it
phone
who
calls.
tagged it first?
Yep.
But if you
Yes.
guys wiped, somebody
The other
could take it.
group could take it.
And for the most part, most EQ1 guilds, you were there setting up, they would wait because there was always a good chance you're gonna wipe. You wipe, you had your shot. Next guild was
But it was an
going in.
honor system, and you
It
just
really was.
you really don't have an honor system anymore in a lot of these games. There's no honor system.
Self-gratification is what I find in a lot of games.
But
But I don't know if we can handle another EQ1. I'm not looking forward to the corpse run.
But now still and I agree on the corpse run.
I don't miss the corpse runs.
I don't miss that.
But there should be penalties to where you go in there.
There should
That's
be
my
stronger
point.
penalties than what you normally find now.
Instead of let's just try this over and over and over and over and over because it doesn't matter, I want to see a penalty. I want to see it mean something to run in there and die.
Absolutely.
Well, like Kuko said, he nailed it. You nailed it a few weeks ago when we were sitting there talking, and you said EQ1 made people fear death. Not just a fear that, a real fear, a fear in you that you were going to die. When you ran somewhere,
You didn't go nowhere you were not comfortable with.
That's
You
right.
did not do that.
And if you fell off the
how's
boat
that?
and you got ate by
When
a
Chad
shark,
would
you
call
better
me
go
and
in
say,
there first.
"Hey," and I'd get sick to my stomach, I still had to go.
When you would be
Wasn't that infuriating though?
I loved it, but that was different then. I mean, I couldn't
it
handle it.
forced you to rely on other
It
people.
was maybe a little too extreme, maybe.
It was too extreme.
Maybe? Like, if you fall off the boat, you better know a
But
necro?
think about this. This is what started it. Everything else lived too.
True.
Yeah. I mean,
Everything else has gone downhill from that. Everything.
I mean, there was Meridian 59 and Ultima Online before EverQuest, but EverQuest put MMOs on the map. There ain't no two ways around it. When you nickname the game Evercrack,
Yeah.
there's no two ways around it. And like I said, it's just so much that made the community work together. If you had somebody come in there and do lead speak and treat people bad and Chuck Norris this and Chuck Norris
Oh,
that,
dear Lord.
they were ostracized from the community. They might as well make care
And you
of
didn't want to be
themselves.
ignored in that game.
No.
You know, I mean,
No.
they
You didn't want to be
had
called Leroy
ATMs.
Jenkins either.
Well, yeah.
At least I got chicken.
I mean, and you would go like in Lower Good. People would be in there farming, like I'd be in there farming, and you'd get weapons that would sell for like $2 at the vendor. But you'd end up getting so much weight on you, you really couldn't move. There's the weight.
Crazy to me.
So the people, you'd actually have people come in there and say, "Hey, ATM here," like they would give you cash
They
for the
could pour it.
weapons,
They could pour it. So they could just sit in there, collect all the weight, give you money, and they just pour it out.
and then they would go sell. And same thing with farming Trents.
So you guys worked around it anyway.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
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 We had rules.
Everybody
We had rules
was
back
involved
then.
on
Yeah.
everything. You
I mean-
had to have other people to help.
You had to
had
have
to.
food and water in your inventory.
Yeah, you know, I would take Chad and them, I'd say, "Hey, go here, go walk into the zone, say ATM at the zone." And they'd walk in there and say ATM, you'd give them a little bit of money. In 2 days, they would, go from 20 gold to 2,000 gold, just swapping money out. So people wouldn't have to leave, they could stay there for, I mean, it was a little niche, When Holly Windwalker or whatever was spawned, everybody knew, because that bitch was just, I mean, dropped a hammer on.
And you'd hear, Flippy the gate!
Yeah.
Yeah, train
Train to the
But the community treated each other better back then. I mean, so many times you hear about different groups going on and, okay, we're going to pug this person. They get this pug in there that needs on everything or it's just general tool and chat or whatever. And it's like, go away. And in EverQuest 1, you had entire sites devoted to bad players. I remember Caitlin was the recruiting officer in our guild. And
She'd check the sign.
I
one
would
thing
check
she'd do is
them
she had
sites
3 or
for
4
them
sites that
names.
talked about bad players, and she would check them. And if they were on that site, we'd get together. And
EQ
she'd be like,
Flames?
Well, EQ Flames was one of them.
That's it.
And we'd get together, and she said, "Well, look, this looks like somebody just got mad at somebody, or no, this guy he applied, he ain't good for it." But your reputation in that game meant
Meant
more to
something.
you than any gear amount of money you could have. Because if you got a bad reputation, it was over.
You were done.
And to me, that's
Too
what
much
I miss
relying on
most
other
about
people you
these
had to have.
games.
Yep.
In Star Wars, they tried, but they just missed the ball. They missed it.
They missed it because they relied on the players to put most of the content in.
We
We're talking about
tried.
galaxies.
Yeah, we tried, but it just.
We did. But we just,
Oh, we did
there
well
was
for what we
nothing-
did.
There was nothing to do after you did all that.
I mean, when you can And you can take the game rules and bend the whole server to the rules that you set forth. No PvPing in your city. And in an open world PvP game, when they walk through the city limits, they didn't PvP.
Yeah, you'd see people, rebels and Imperials, like at the Buff House. I mean,
Flagged.
flagged, standing there minding their business. Hey, what's up?
Yep.
I'll
So
meet you,
what would
I'll meet you outside
happen
the
if they
city.
PvP'd in your city?
Well, we,
Back in there.
yeah, they weren't
I can
allowed.
Oh, you could ban people.
You
Yes.
could ban people
You
from
could ban
merchants, so if somebody was a tool or something, we could send out a citywide mail to all the merchants.
And our city was
say-
important enough for
and tell them,
everybody to
ban
want
this
to.
person
Everybody
from your
wanted
merchant.
You had
And our
merchants.
city had
Yes.
all the best crafters.
All of them.
And see, like my Buff House, all I had to do was go up to my menu and say, "Oh, Jack's a tool." Type in Jack for, and he can't get in the house anymore.
Yep, and that's what we'd do. So we would have actually crafters that liked that, and they would move to our city even if they weren't in the guild. Senna, the armor smith.
The best armors in the
Best armor in the whole game was in our city, and if somebody broke the city rules, she would ban them from her armor house. They couldn't buy off her vendor. We had entire guilds move into our cities.
So,
And you'd start getting tells from these people instantly.
Oh, yeah.
Whining, please.
I'm
This
big.
baby, please.
Oh, yeah, we know it.
Well, we did. We
That's
made
so
strict.
funny.
We told everybody we don't care what happens outside of our, because we had 2 Class 5 cities side by side and made one giant city out of it. And we set forth the rules. No PvPing. No acting like an ass. No this. You know, and they're just basically play nice rules. You're in our city, you're going to play nice. Dueling's okay.
Even the developers
but
are watching.
Even the developers would watch. We'd always get emails or in-game mails from developers saying, "This is amazing." But
And
we rocked
the,
it.
the trick is, we just need a game out there that will let the community be strong again. You know what I mean? It's
Well, it sounds like WildStar may be heading in that direction a bit with their housing and actually be able, you can put portals to raids in your housing area. I was in a town hall meeting with WildStar Central a few weeks ago, and I had mentioned, you know, cities. Why can't we build cities? If we can build houses, why can't we do cities?
Right.
Like you're talking of, I think that would be
There's
great.
gotta be a reason for it.
Right.
But to make-
Guilds, you know,
Well,
community.
okay, I mean, besides just everybody being in the same place, a reason for other people to want to
To
be
want to
there.
be there.
Exactly.
Right.
That's, you know, EverQuest 2 had their housing, which is really nice. Some of the best housing I've seen since Star Wars Last Instance.
Mm-hmm.
So there's really no reason for somebody to come into your house.
Right.
all I had was dragons in it.
The biggest thing that'll help with the community is people rely on other people again.
Well, the WildStar is what they're doing. Is certain paths can put a portal to raids at their house, which if you use this portal, you'll get certain buffs for your raid, things like that.
The only thing that's gonna make people rely on other people again is people having a small portion of what they can do and not do everything.
Everything.
Yeah, you can't do
Right,
everything
like
in
pick
an MMO
one
and have a
thing
strong
and
community.
not, oh, I can do this.
You can't,
this.
you can't go be the tank, the healer, and the DPS
Right.
with one character
Play
at
paladin.
times. Like WoW, like Star Wars. You know, those are things that hurt a community when one. Now, the counter argument that is, well, there's never enough of this online. I understand that, but you take away something from the community when everybody can do everything.
Everything.
It really does,
But-
because you take away from the community when you have 3 different tanks.
Right.
Because we got in this discussion in TeamSpeak the other night. There's always one class that's better at tanking than all the others. And once they figure out what that one class is, the other 2 aren't needed.
Right.
Right.
You know, so everybody's looking for that one class that's good at tanking, because they're the best tank. The other 2,
They can
they
get by
don't
on
know.
Zozo stuff, but if it comes to important stuff, that's it.
Yep.
Right.
And then at some point, they're gonna take that class and they're gonna nerf them. And then you
Yep.
dumped all this gear on them so the guild can progress. And
Right.
hey, guess what?
Well, that happened to me in Canada. That happened to us. I mean, in Wolf, they changed what we needed as tanks in Star Wars to where we got a spec defense now instead of what we were specking.
That happens in every game.
It does, but it happens more in game when multiple classes can do the same thing.
Right.
And to me, I don't know where that started, but that is one of the biggest mistakes that they've made. I know a lot of players in the community wanted and everything else, but.
The have-nots wanted it.
The have-nots wanted it, as usual, just like WoW's rating. You have, is it 10 man or 12 man?
10 or 25.
10 and 25, but the loot's the same.
It's different
That's
between 10 and 25. It's the same, but
But
there's
more of
hard
it.
modes between 10 and 25. They changed that with the new expansion because of the complaints from the player base.
Yeah, well, I
They
know-
they nerf for the player base.
I know in
basically.
Star Wars, we can do
Yeah.
an 8-man and we can get, for instance, EV, just for instance, hard mode. We can do one 8-man and get one piece of ricotta, or we can do a 16-man and get 2 pieces of ricotta. So, I mean, what's the point of that? Why would you even want to do a 16-man raid?
Well, it was
Besides just to do it.
yeah, and I think with WoW in particular, it was the smaller casual guilds were complaining that they couldn't get the gear that the larger guilds could get because they could not run 25 man. So that's why.
So you get a bigger.
So they changed the gear level so it's all the same between 10 and 25, but 25 man might drop a couple more pieces.
Yeah, see, that's all right. So you get a bigger
Yeah.
guild, where you pug some people, then you make new friends, and you have possibly new guildies. And a little better item.
Question? You had a question?
Yeah, as a follow-up to the subscription model type questions, but a slightly different tangent. The new trend now is using Kickstarter as funding for potential games to hit niche markets or develop games that aren't. We're not going to do PvE and PvP and raiding and dungeons and just try to literally satisfy every type of MMO gamer. They're trying to hit more target niche markets and do it extremely well. What do you think about that?
Neverwinter, I think, is a prime example. They said, hey, we're not going to raid. We're going to have player-made type content. I mean, it's a D&D world. And I think they've hit it. And I don't see anything wrong with niche markets. Because
Actually,
you
been
know
working
what
on
you're...
rating.
Really?
Yes.
But, you know what you're getting into. So I don't see anything wrong with niche markets. I think it's a good idea. If somebody says, hey, we're building a game just like EQ1, right off, I'd probably,
Well, that
you know what I
Camelot
mean?
Unchained, I mean, that's practically the successor to Dark Age of Camelot, and boom, I invested. I'm like, let's see what you can do with it.
Well, like,
There's games
Darkness
out
Falls
there
was
for
fun.
everybody. There really is. Now, from a personal point of view, some of these games come out, and this is fine, but if you're there, if your in-game content's PvP, then make it known your in-game content's PvP. If your in-game content's PvE rating, make it known. And all these games are doing that. It goes back down to what we were talking about earlier about different guilds. It's just preference. I've got my preference, how I think a game should be. Trash has his, Steel has his, Google Cake got theirs. And we differ. We're more closer together than you think, but we differ on certain things we'd like to see.
The Holy Trinity.
Yes, yeah, I think that's definite for me. I know it's okay if people don't have it, but
I don't
yeah.
know why people don't like it. I don't understand why
Yeah.
it's so big of a.
I've always played a dedicated healer, and when I can't keep people alive, it drives me crazy.
That's part of the point where you start taking away from your players relying on other players.
Yeah,
You really do.
You're right.
I think
I didn't even think of it that way.
I think
That's
one
true.
of the issues is that some of these companies go out and they want so bad to distinguish themselves away from something that they do stuff like take the Holy Trinity out, or say, okay, we're not going to do raiding, or we're not going to do PvE, or one thing or the other, and they go out of their way to create something different because they think that's what's going to draw tons of people to it. And in reality, most of your MMO players, now there's always new ones coming into the genre every day, but most of them are looking for a variation of some game they used to play, kind of like us in
There's
EQ1.
probably a lot of players out today that don't have no clue what Holy Trinity is.
Well, actually, most players don't have a clue. Holy Trinity was tank, heal, and crowd control.
Right.
DPS was always assumed. DPS was never part of the Holy Trinity. Nowadays, it's tank, healer, DPS.
Yeah, there's like no crowd control.
Yeah.
It's non-existent.
And that's what
mostly.
people call the Holy Trinity, but originally it was tank, healer, and crowd control.
Well, we used to be in EQ1, and we'd have I would be the tank, we'd have our healer and our CC, we'd bring in DPS. We would CC. If somebody broke it, let's say you broke it, we just stand there. As soon as soon as they would die, you would remez, everybody would stop, back up, and we would say, hey, you don't touch anything until I tell you to touch it, or
And
you
we'll
go
tell
in.
you what
Oh,
to do.
yeah.
And they would say,
what order to touch
okay,
it.
and then you would res.
And they won't do it again.
Because they're losing their allowed to do that. You pull aggro off the tank would not get it back. We wouldn't try. We would
just stand there.
we'd tell the healers, don't heal them, res them when they're dead. And that all started for me personally, because I'd follow that one in a complete, just run in a complete circle.
I got tired of chasing him, and I stood
Finally, I
there.
stood in one place, I just whacked it as it went by. Finally, he'd kill him, come back to me. He'd come back to me, the healer would res him up, and I'd have aggro.
I'd call Chad, I'm like, you tell us someone good to stop running.
Stop chasing him! But I never seen nothing like perfect circle. But the problem was that we had in the game, and this is kind of relying on each other and play style too, is when we first started raiding, ooh, it was ugly. but you know, him or his brother, both of them could run perfect circles.
That's part of the necro thing.
They're part of the
It's
necro
like,
thing.
It's just.
So they would run in a circle. They would run in a circle.
While the raid's just standing on
And the
like,
healers
oh, here
would
it
try to
goes.
heal them. They would die. Then Mom would go wipe the healers out. And then they would come to me. Well, that doesn't do so good when they come to me or you. We didn't have a healer left.
But I think the niche market's a good idea because you can't please everybody.
No.
Plain and simple.
No.
You can't please. So make a game that's a hell of a game for that group.
Right.
So I think I like it.
Well, Grievance has obviously come a long way from when it was founded and headed in the right direction. Exciting
Agreed.
things to
I
come.
think so.
Exciting things to come.
I think that we haven't even scratched the future yet. It's really, it's amazing to see what's been going on in Grievance and what people see. It's not just, I'm not just the only dreamer anymore. You know,
No,
but
you're
it's-
not.
It's amazing to see, you know, the excitement of people or the realization when they come to one of these things for the first time. Their eyes get wide and they're like, wow, they don't live in a box, you know?
Gamers! In real life!
Now walk in and say, did I pay to come to Big Bang Theory?
Yeah. But see, because these started Chris's house that time, Tiberia. These started at her house. She wanted to go to a EQ, whatever they were, fanfare or whatever it was. It wasn't even Sony fans, EverQuest, something or another. Couldn't go to it, so she decided to invite a couple people over to her house. I think me and D'Lo, did you show up there? He showed up there.
Of course we can.
They did. Trask showed up a little late, like when it was over.
As long as you shut up.
I was gaming.
And the next time it was at our house.
Yeah, Brian says, when are we going to do another one of these again?
It was fun.
You know?
It was fun.
And it's like, well, we're going to progress. Let's do another one of these. Oh, it's fun. Then we went to a restaurant, spent 4 hours. Then it became an all-day thing. And now it's a weekend thing. And now next year it's going to be Thursday through Saturday. You know, so it's, who knows?
Well,
It's not up to us. It's up to all y'all. What do you want Grievance to be? Anybody. What anybody wants Grievance to be.
There's really no limit because this younger generation that's coming up, I mean, they're almost all games.
Oh, yeah, we're like the old men now.
look at what we started. It's a beautiful thing.
Oh, we got questions now.
So do you all sit down and playing games currently together at all? Have you done that in a while?
It's been a long
I
time.
haven't done that in a while now.
Not in a while.
I don't even have the internet right now. The farm is killing
It
me.
might be a little while still.
He's
before that
got real
happens.
life
I
Farmville.
think I get really excited when I know that he's playing, and he wants to
Got another-
play.
got another
Like,
question
okay,
here.
I'm on board.
You may see
You're
a
gonna
bunch,
play with the girls, right? Awesome.
you may see a bunch of us get together when WildStar comes out. You may see a bunch of us get together. We may be split between two factions, we may not.
I will.
But I can tell you this, if EQ Next looks like it's going to be a good game, you'll see almost every single founder come back to it. I promise you that. Go.
You know what? Thinking about all the stuff that you guys have been talking about sitting here, something that would work really well and probably give us a lot of morale boost.
More tequila?
Well, we're talking about this whole girl gaming
Oh
thing.
yeah.
What about having a monthly founders podcast where you guys get in, set your machines up, play a simple game together, and broadcast it, showing the people how they have.
I don't know if we want to embarrass ourselves. I don't think it's a bad idea. Maybe every 3 months.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Once every
for it.
6 months,
Why
whatever.
not?
You know, just something where all the grievance members can get together and see how the founders
Interact with each other.
interact with each other. See how you guys handle the situations that the newer
What you
games
killing over there, Cooch?
You're screaming, "Hill me at me."
Oh, all right.
Keep the
That
train
was
going.
me. I started it though, right?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, all hills on trash. Yeah.
Oh, it was old trash. They even made a soundboard of me and Lugs at one point. Heal me! Heal me!
It was hilarious.
Yeah, pissed off dealers there.
I'm gonna hug the Lugs.
It would be fun, I mean, because you look at like Yogscast and other stuff like that on YouTube. I mean, there's a lot of people that follow them. There's so many options.
YouTube is a huge outlet for networking and
Yes.
The internet
getting
in
views and
general
pulling
is-
people in and actually making money now.
You know what? The
depending on how many views you have.
TV channel, that's revenue waiting for you right there.
Yeah.
You know, by having people subscribe to your stuff. You know, there's definitely. How many people would love to see a group of
old people playing a game?
It's about a group of founding people who have a guild that has done so well and an organization that's so strong get together, not having played a game in a long time, and show how you guys can unite and just, you know.
I don't know if some of these companies want to know. We think some of their names. Why not? Why
Sure.
not? Why not?
I was just saying,
You
you
guys
know.
can install EverQuest 2 in ROM around. I am right now.
Sure.
I think they've all played EverQuest 2 at one point, didn't y'all?
What's
I know
that?
me and Philo tried to install EverQuest 1 a couple months ago. We didn't last long.
No.
It was a lot to overcome.
Can't get past the graphics.
I quit playing EverQuest 2 when we were killing every raid boss out there in one night.
Wow. Oh.
Everything. And then we had nothing to do for the rest of the time. At that point I said, but again, that's where I don't understand why the companies do this. You race to the max level and you knock out the raids as quick as you can, and then you're like,
Wait for the next expansion.
Well, let's hope the game changes that in the
They got
future.
to slow it down.
I know, I'm like,
An interesting.
founders. Appreciation from Grievance. Y'all are getting plaques.
oh,
Honored founder of Grievance. Or Traz. Do y'all want to show the, what's that called? TeamSpeak people? Remember the Twitch people?
The internet.
The Lonians?
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll show it later when I can adjust the camera.
Okay.
Caitlin?
Thank y'all very much.
If I don't get this up there, I think Luna will kill me. Luna wanted to say.
And Kukas!
Yay!
Last but not least.
Y'all hang them by your computers with pride.
Right.
That even
Thank
though
you.
she
Yes,
cannot
thank
be
you.
here as we real life get together, she feels that she's a
Awesome.
part of the gathering.
Who's this?
And someone
Luna.
just said something that I trolled, so I had to find it again. She wanted to thank Grievance for welcoming her with open arms when she was feeling lost and despair. She joined the guild in time of despair and sadness, and this guild not only gave her a home, but a family for gaming. She sees a lot of happy faces here and very happy people here, and she's proud to be a part of Grievance and the Gamer Guilds of Grievance as well. She's truly touched by it, and when her kids are old enough to play games, they will join this guild as well.
Awesome. Oh,
Who
cool.
is that,
Said-
Cooch?
Yes,
Luna
Luna.
says thank you very much.
Luna!
She loves you all.
Luna.
We love you, Luna!
But you know, a lot of people could really pick on somebody about something like that, but we understand. You know what I mean?
Yes, we
We've
do.
got,
We do.
it's just awesome.
We protect.
You know what I mean?
We do protect that.
We look for people like that. I mean,
Absolutely.
We need 100 more.
Yeah.
We need another
1,000, yeah.
I mean, Luna has been just wanting to do more for Grievance since like the third day I talked to her. She's been amazing.
And we got spots for that. I mean, somebody's gone home.
She's in COG now.
They're loose.
Yay!
Yeah.
She's a COG member.
Yeah.
Ready to recruit. Let's eat some shrimp.
See y'all at council meeting.
Thanks, guys.